Topic A, creating and using modules. So before we get started, what is a module? It's just a Python file with some useful functionality that can be accessed by other files. So why do this? Why use modules? Well, first of all, it makes it easier to group related functionality together. So let's say you are processing list data in some special way, and you make 5 or 6 functions that do useful things to that list data. It's a good idea to put them all in one file, call it MyListFunctions, and then you can import that file from any other files and reuse those functions readily. So that's the idea. So this leads to having essentially collections of functions that do similar things that are accessible to you as essentially like toolboxes for performing a particular task. Now, what is a module? Technically, it's just a Python file that you import from another Python file by using its file name. So the functions inside the module can be stored two main different ways. One is you literally write a collection of functions in the file, and then you access them by the file name. The other one is you actually write a class, and then you use that file name to create objects, and then those objects access the function. So before we get started with actual module examples, you should be aware that there is when you're using those import statements, there is a search path. And Python actually looks for that file name in the current operating folder, and then it looks for your standard sort of Python libraries. Now, if you were to name your file, and this can happen, it happened to me accidentally. If you name your file the same way as another built-in module in Python, you can override that, and you should avoid that at all costs. So if you want to look into this in a little bit more detail, you can Google sys.path and look up that link provided right there. But right now, we are actually going to get very practical with modules. We're going to create one of our own and then access the functionality from it. So in this video, what we're going to do is create a Python module and then use it. And I'm going to do this from scratch just to show you that really Python module is just a file, and importing it is using the file name. So I'm going to go new Python file, and we're going to call this my module. So that's going to be the module. This is going to be where I'm going to put some functions, and I'm going to create another file, and I'm going to call this test module. This test off module, but yeah, my module and test module. So in here, I'm going to write a couple functions, which I'm going to call from another file that is in the same folder, and that's going to basically be the usage of the functions in the module. So let's do something we've done before, something fairly simple. I guess we're going to use 2 functions, import. We're going to import math, and we're going to do functions for circumference and area of circles. So we're going to say def circumference, that's going to take radius, it's going to return 2 pi r, 2 times math dot pi times radius. And the next one is going to be area, which is going to take the radius. It's going to return pi times radius squared. So that should do it. So from the test module, now I'm going to call that from a different file, and I'm going to import my module. Bingo. Import my module. And here I'm going to get the radius from the user. Why not? And that's going to be float of input, and in the input we can put something like please enter radius. And I can now do a couple of print statements. Print. So one can say something like the circumference of the circle with radius. It's a long one, radius. So we can say comma, is, comma. And this is where we do the function calls. So you're going to type in my module and watch this, dot, and there you go. Area or circumference. So we're doing circumference first, and we're going to put that variable. So if I run the test module, please enter radius 8. Circumference of the circle with radius 8 is that. Easy does it. I guess let's not reinvent the wheel. We can say area is dot area. And that would be 5. Here the circle with radius 5 is. Yep, brilliant. So there you have it. This is an example of creating a module, basically a Python file with some functions, calling it, importing it from another file, and accessing the functions in your module via basically the import name, the dot of where that came from. Now, you could have done it slightly differently. I'm just going to comment this out to show you an alternative import. You could have, and this is what you might see in many Python tutorials, you could have written from my module import star. And what that does is that allows you to use the functions directly without accessing them. This should just work. So that is the alternative way to do it. All right, that's a wrap for this one.